Figure Bytes. Figure Bytes. Figure Bytes.
Hello and welcome to another episode of Six Figure Bytes. I am Six Figure Breakthrough Coach Wei Houng at the Six Figure Academy, and I'm here sitting in our office in Redondo Beach at the Six Figure Academy. It's a beautiful day outside, so if you're watching the video, you can see the background just through the sliver of the window, how gorgeous it is outside today. It's a Saturday afternoon. And today we are going to talk about something a little bit more along the nuts and bolts level. Most of our Six Figure Bytes podcasts have been dealing with inner game work, and today we're going to talk a little bit about outer game work just to change things up a little bit. And today's topic is, are you building a six-figure business hobby? As a disclaimer, that doesn't really exist. If you are making anywhere close to six figures or more, I would highly recommend you consider changing it out from being just a hobby. The funny thing is that the IRS actually allows you to claim your business as a hobby. That being said, if you're making six figures, there's no such thing as a six-figure business hobby. You might as well drop the hobby and just make a six-figure business, okay? So the more important thing that you want to think about this, how serious are you about your business, or is it still just a hobby? And what we're going to talk about today in the podcast, along with the nuts and bolts of it, is also to talk about how you could determine how to make sure that you are running a six-figure business that isn't basically flirting with the classification of being a hobby. How do you determine the difference between a hobby and a business? Okay. Well, let's talk about a hobby. If you are running a hobby business, or just making money as a hobby in this particular area that you're doing, think of it this way. A hobby can actually go away from your life, and it won't make that big of an impact on your life. Okay, that's the quickest and easiest way to determine whether or not the work that you're doing and making some side cash on is a hobby or not. A business, a business is a business because you tend to have skin in the game. Either you borrowed money to start it, you've invested money to start it, you basically, or in some cases, you've taken money outside of a resource, let's say for a children's college fund, to pursue a passion that you want to build a lifestyle around. In other words, you've actually put some vested interest in the venture. Now, when I talk about all these different things or different ways that you've actually put skin in the game, sometimes people go, ooh, that's kind of risky. And let me shift that mindset just for a quick moment here. A business that you've had vested interest in is really only a risk if you treat that business like you would treat a hobby. Okay? The best way to describe that is this beautiful scenario that was described in the book Think and Grow Rich by Napoleon Hill, when he recounted a story, an ancient story about a general who wanted to inspire his troops to do whatever it would take to win a crucial battle in a war. So not to kind of belay the story or anything like that, if you want to read about the story, read the book Think and Grow Rich. If you are a six-figure entrepreneur and you have yet to read the book Think and Grow Rich, what are you waiting for? I mean, it's a book that even Tony Robbins reads at least once a month. So what you want to do is read that book to get the details. But what happened was is that the general and his troops, they were totally outnumbered going into a specific battle. They arrived to the shore and were camping out for the evening before going into battle the next day. They were a little bit disheartened because they knew they were outnumbered by the opposing, about the people they were going to fight. So what happened was the morale was a little bit down. So what the general did that night when everybody was asleep, he actually went out and he burned all the ships to the ground. So that basically the next day when they woke up, he told his troops that we have a choice. We either win this battle or we die. There's no turning back. Okay. in the modern day and age of entrepreneurship, it doesn't necessarily have to be, either I succeed or die. However, the mindset and the approach of a business is kind of like that. You've invested yourself, you have skin in the game, and you will invest as much as you can to pursue that passion in that business. Okay? Either way, however you approach what you're doing right now is okay. If it's a hobby, treat it like a hobby so that it will nourish your soul. If it's a business that you're passionate about, by all means, treat it like a business. Okay? And when you do, and you invest yourself, blood, sweat, equity, and everything else on top of that, it will not only nourish your soul, it will also help create a lifestyle that you have always wanted. How's that? Okay? So, we're going to talk about how then we make sure that you treat your business like a business. And I'm going to give you a list of items so that you can kind of calibrate on. And I ordered in a list of importance so that way you can calibrate on, if you are just starting out, how you want to approach your business in a way that's economically logical. In other words, if you're currently working in a job and you're really passionate about ideal right now and you're looking to venture off, become, and venture into the crazy world of entrepreneurship, I'm going to present these points in an order that would help kind of give you a game plan on how your next step should be. Or if you're just starting out as an entrepreneur, make sure these are taken care of. Okay, so if you're ready, bust out your notes if you want to take notes and write the following down. Number one, okay, and for those of you who have built business before, this will be an interesting thing to see whether or not you guessed it right. The number one thing you want to do before you start your business is set goals. Set goals? Isn't this for me to pick out the name of my business? No, set goals. What is your goal for the business? See, if it's a hobby, you don't really think about it. You just kind of get started and you just kind of do it and see where it goes. That's the kiss of death right there. If you are treating your business as, well, I'm going to get started and just see where it goes, you are already starting your business with an energy that says that I'm going to treat this like a hobby. And if I happen to hit the lotto, then I'll make it a business. That, my friends, is what we call a poor business plan. So, first and foremost, if you have an idea and you're passionate about it and it's something that you want to do, first and foremost, set goals. More importantly, set very clear goals. And if you want a detailed way of how to coordinate very powerful goal setting techniques, I highly encourage you to go to our website, thesixfigureacademy.com, and subscribe for the free e-series of the 3 requisites of six-figure success, where we talk about that. And I actually get very, very detailed on how to set very powerful goals and how to make sure that you get your goals on a regular basis. Anyway, so number one is set goals. Set goals for the business, set goals for your economic growth as a result of the business, and more importantly, set goals of how this business is going to impact your life. Okay. Number two, when you've done that, then you go and you pick a name. You pick a name, and the next people say, okay, great, I pick a name and make a business card. No, pick a name, and if you're serious about making this a business, okay, and the reason why we want to do these things is because it tells our mind on an unconscious level that we're actually serious this time and we're not just like messing around. So you pick a name, you go online, check to see if it's available, then you register it with your state. If you don't feel like registering a whole different separate name, at the very least get a DBA, which stands for doing business as. And again, you could do that online as well. Someone says, well, that's kind of expensive. Well, it depends on where you go. You can go online and get done for as little as $30, okay, depending on what state you're in. California is pretty expensive, and that's where we are. And it was still $30. I think when I did a DBA, I filed it with the state and it cost me $26, and then we did a DBA online, which cost $30. Or, when you have to kind of, I think there are rules in California, you have to kind of publish it on a newspaper to legitimize it and everything like that. So anyway, pick a name, register with your state. Done. Okay. Again, you could do it online. If you don't know where to go, Google it. Next, get a federal employment identification number. Yes, if you run a business, you will pay taxes on the business. Now, the importance of having a separate social security number or employment identification number is that if you want to grow a six-figure business, you need to not flow your business income through your own personal income. I'm not a CPA. I'm not a tax accountant. This is based on my experience in working with CPAs. So again, check what we're saying here with your CPA. But you want to get a federal EIN number, and you could do that online too. From what I recall, it's free. So once you get a name, you register with state and everything, you can get a federal EIN number, get that done online. Next, after that, go to your bank. Get to know your bank's a branch manager, and then have them help you open a business bank account under that federal EIN number. Okay. After that, then next step is to go get a business license. Do you guys get it here? This seems like a lot to do, but there's more than just making sure that your foundation is set by doing this process. The most important thing is having your unconscious mind realize that, hey, I'm really serious about getting this done. I'm really serious about you're actually putting skin in the game by going through this process. So you go get a business license for wherever you are running your business. If you're running a business virtually, then you basically get the business license of in the city of where you're living to do it that way. Now, there are other tax, techniques that you can do by having a business, open in a different state and hang a license. But I won't get into the details of that. Again, consult with your CPA or tax accountant if that's the path you want to take. I don't recommend thinking about doing that until you've actually built your business to a certain point, at least breaking six figures once. Okay. Now, after you get your business license, start tracking and making a ledger of everything you spend and make. If you are not good with accounting, start simple. Bust out an Excel sheet, create a column that says expenditures, create another column that says income. That's it. At the very least, do that. Keep track of everything that goes in and out. And then at the end of the day, it makes life a lot easier when you go out to an accountant or you go out to your CPA and say, here's what I did for the year, here's my receipts and everything like that. It doesn't have to be that complicated. There's so many different resources out there because of the internet that we can actually start developing, which is the final step I'm talking about in terms of importance, is start developing your superstar team. These are the people that are going to be a supportive role in the development of your business. If you can't afford them, start lining them up and build a relationship with them anyway. For example, start interviewing, looking for an accountant or CPA if you don't already have one that understands the industry or has experience working with clients that are in the industry that you're working in. If you are a coach, work with a CPA who has experience working with coaches. If you have a retail shop in clothing, work with a CPA who has clients who has clothing retail shops. Okay, this is really important because if you're working with a CPA or accountant who has no experience whatsoever, they have to do extra work. And if they're really busy, will they be putting that extra work, or they will just put you in a generic cubbyhole on how they work your accounting and your taxes? The benefit of working somebody who has familiarity of working in an industry that you're working in as a CPA or accounting is that they can help you save as much money as possible running a business in your industry. Okay, so really important. The next person you want to add to your superstar team would be your connections with your local bank or banks, depending on how many banks you want to use. If you start with one, get to know the branch manager. Talk to the branch manager about what you're doing. Don't be afraid to say, hey, I'm just starting out. I would love to build business line of credit. What do I need to do? What are the steps? And start developing that relationship so they can actually step in and help you. It took a lot for me, for example, to finally go to the branch manager of our local branch here and to say, hey, got a new business. I really don't know how to build business credit. Swallow my pride and say, what can we do to work together to help me out? And they were extremely helpful in helping me and shedding light on the new rules in the banking system of how to build credit and how we can use that to build our business. So that's very important. Another person you want to add to your superstar team are in commercial insurance. Yes, if you are running a legitimate business, if you have an office space, if you have any kind of place where you see clients and you're renting space, whatever, you need business insurance. If you're running a virtual business, then you want to think about getting E&O, what they call E&O insurance, which is emissions and omissions or something to that effect. Anyway, talk to a commercial insurance, start developing a relationship with, and see what it is that you need to do. Especially if you're running commerce online, you want to make sure that you get cyber insurance as well. And the last person you want to think about on your superstar team are assistants. Yes, assistants. At the very least, in fact, I believe one of the very first people you should add to your team whenever you're able to is an assistant. What an assistant will do is not only help you with the daily things the daily grind things like checking emails, scheduling, and answering phone calls or fielding emails, is more importantly getting you used to becoming a business owner and not a solopreneur that becomes an employee for your own self. This is really important, so pay attention here. An assistant has two things. One, it can help take a lot of things off your plate to handle the daily humdrum of things. But more importantly, get you into the habit of being an owner, owning a business for the sake of growth and creating a lifestyle. Now, we can get into a whole separate podcast on this, but as long as you are an employee to your own business, the goals of your business, which we set in the very beginning of creating a specific lifestyle, will be more difficult to obtain unless you step out of that role and ultimately step into the role of an owner. Okay. So in the interest of keeping this a six-figure bite, hopefully you got a lot of value out of that. If I'm pretty sure you know somebody who can also benefit from this. Remember, sharing is caring. And if you haven't subscribed to us already at the Six Figure Academy, that's the number 6, figureacademy.com. Subscribe to our blog so you can get notification of all the new podcasts or any blog posts or any inspirational quotes that come out. Make sure you do that. Like us on Facebook, follow us on Twitter, subscribe to our YouTube channel where you can see a video rendition of this podcast. And remember, if you haven't subscribed to us already on iTunes, make sure you do so. And that's today's Six-Figure Bite.
Six-Figure Bytes. Six-Figure Bytes. Six-Figure Bytes.